about to start. I do this podcast on Tuesday.
What's up, fellas? Hold on, let me get this off of here. There we go. What's going on? What's going on? So we're starting off with us three. But I got some guests coming, so we'll see what's up with them. Let me go ahead and check, make sure everything's still copacetic, But no, we definitely should have an interesting conversation today. Just based off of, y'all seen the questions, so you already know how it's coming. Going to get a little deep, spiritual today. Now we're talking about the connection between our mind, body, and our spirits, and how we control them all, and kind of being master of it all. So, what's going on, Mo Better?
Good afternoon, gentlemen.
Mo Better Blues.
trying to get my technical things together.
Hey, what was the name of my man's? What was my man's name in that movie?
I don't even remember, man.
Leafer, that's more your lane. You know what I'm talking about?
You talking about Denzel's role?
Yeah. What was the name? What was his name in that movie?
I can't remember. And it's crazy. I just saw it like last month.
But you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
And how they, for the longest, I didn't know that the Lost Boys was remaking that based off of that movie, that video. You know what I'm talking about? That I can't remember what that Lost Boys joint was, but it's like I'm in love with two women. You know what I'm saying?
Minifield Bleak Gilliam.
Bleak, yeah, there it is.
Yeah, Bleak Gilliam.
But,
Frank,
what's going on, Ron?
What up, Mo Better? Scale, what's going on, man?
Man, it's another so interesting connection. I don't know if you guys knew, but Leafer's related to our homie in Houston.
Yeah, that's the same last name.
Yeah, but I didn't. I mean,
I was gonna say, I don't say you ain't asking me.
No, I knew you knew, but yeah, I didn't know. So no, we kicked it hard in Houston, Leafer. You know what I'm saying? So I didn't know if that connection was all made, but
yeah, I saw the photos.
Oh, okay, yeah, heck of a time.
Yo, I've been back twice since.
Twice?
No, I'm going back again.
Oh man.
But it's for a totally isolated thing, man. It's totally like
listen,
I don't know.
Look, Texas, man. Stay healthy.
Listen,
stay healthy.
it's the gift that keep on giving. I tell you that Houston gives, it gives time and time again, my guys.
Yeah, it's crazy, man.
So, I mean, let's get into it though. You know what I'm saying? So, welcome everybody. We're gonna drop a bomb. You know what I'm saying? So, first question. Here we go. What's the connection between our mind, body, and spirit? We got first total on that.
What's the connection? So like being in the fitness world, you see that like they all work together, man. It's all one. So oftentimes people separate the mind and their body, especially when it comes to like nutrition, right? They don't feel like, because I tell people all the time, your brain feeds off the same nutrition the rest of your body is. So if you're malnutrition, then that means your brain is not functioning at an optimal level. You know what I'm saying? You're not there. And if you're not thinking optimally, then that means that, you know what I'm saying, spiritually you're gonna suffer. You know what I'm saying? It's all things work together, man. If one is off balance, then it throws the whole system off. You know what I'm saying? It's really all in one, man. It's no separate thing. Oftentimes we try to separate it and compartmentalize something like that, but I don't know why, because all that shit is you. You know what I'm saying? That is you as a person. That's who you are, and it's all one thing, man. It's one unit, and we gotta treat it all as such.
Good one, good one, good one. Who got next? You on mute?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you.
I bet. So yeah, so I agree with everything he said. It was buffering a little bit, but I think they're all interconnected, man. So mind, body, and spirit, man, they're definitely intertwined. Um like I think when I feel full on all those fronts, and actually there's a fourth additional one, financially. I think that always works for me too. Once I feel full on all those fronts, man, things tend to be going in the right direction. I feel positive and I feel energized, based on all those four things. So they're definitely interconnected. And for me, generally, what I do is, like, let's say if I feel depleted in one, man, I fall back on one of the ones that I'm actually winning on. I always say, man, I just need a win. And once I get a win, man, I just carry that momentum into all those other areas. And it generally works for me, man. So I totally agree that all three of those are interconnected. But obviously, I have a fourth one that I think is important.
Yo, just to piggyback on that, like they all feed each other. You know what I mean? Even the financial aspect. You know, if your mind is running at optimum and you're making really good decisions, it usually it produces in other areas. You know what I mean? They all feed off of one.
I definitely agree to that. They all do kind of work together. Well, of course they all work together, but who want to run the next question? I mean, same question.
I got it. I mean, for me, I feel like it all starts with the mind for me, man. So everything that I do, and if you know me and you're around me, you talk to me enough, you hear me always talking about balance, right? So everything that I'm doing is focused is based off of balance in my life, and that's mind, body, and spirit. But I think it starts with the mind because it comes down to mental discipline and being able to do what I need to do to make sure my mental health is right, and do what I need to do and stay on task to make sure my body health is right. You know what I mean? My cardiovascular health is right, and then what I mean, feeding my soul so that you know um, the things that are supposed to come in my life and the things that I'm supposed to be attracted to, or that are just supposed to be attracted to me, kind of flow, um, directly to me because I'm connected to it. You know what I mean? So I just feel like it all starts with the mind, and then use your brain and your mind to kind of fuel everything else and to make sure you're doing everything else the right way.
What's up, Rod?
What's going on, family? How you fellas doing?
Pretty good. What's your perspective on the connection between your mind, body, and your spirit?
My perspective on the connection between your mind, body, and spirit. Um, well, firstly, I feel like you need to continue to develop your mind, or the other stuff won't fall into place. Um, that's pretty much my perspective on it. Nah.
All right, all right. So I kind of feel like, because I'm in IT, so I think things, is ones and zeros. Um, I feel like your mind is like your operating system. Um, your body is the actual physical hardware of yourself, and your spirit is like all those little apps that you put on your computer, so you can get it to do what you want it to do. You know what I'm saying? So I think there's a fourth piece to it, and that's I'm thinking of like your soul. You know what I mean? And that would be kind of like your firmware. The things that like the very low level of the essence of who you are. You know what I mean? And all those different things feed into your soul, and however you get your soul to connect. However you could manipulate your soul is how you get your body to function. So that's kind of how I think about it. I think we possess many spirits, based off of whatever we allow to in our, sight, whatever we, ingest, eat, watch, listen to. You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of my perspective on it. But I want to talk about health a little bit and get into the next question and doing a little bit of research before this show. Not much research is needed to be done on what our number one killer is. But heart disease, man, is like the biggest killer to to black men. And I feel like our heart, like after we make it past a certain age of gang violence and dying at a young age based off of whatever, I don't think we take enough time to really feed in our health or think about it, to even live past 50. My father died at 50, and what I'm saying, now it's like a huge thing on my mind. Like, man, I got to make sure I live past that. You know what I mean? To even benefit off of all the things that we've been working on. So, how do y'all feel about how do we get ahead of being taken out so early in like heart disease?
Hey, first off, just want to let everybody, in YouTube land, or whatever you're streaming this on, that here at Hit Me Boxing and Fitness, man. You know what I'm saying? In Stone Mountain, Georgia. Plug, plug that in there. You know what I'm saying? That
Look, he just did a whole commercial.
You know, we assist with that, man. Mind, body, and spirit transition. You know what I'm saying? But I think Scales made the point. I think it was a really good point, and that's how I tell people all the time. Life is about balance. You know what I'm saying? It's really about balancing, because even too much of a good thing isn't always a great thing. You know what I'm saying? It's about a balance, because those three things we spoke about, the mind, the body, the soul, all have to be in balance. And your food has to be in balance. So it's okay to enjoy certain things in life, but we got to create a balance. And a lot of the habits that we form comes from a lot of things that we seen or we watched growing up. So like a lot of times when they say like high blood pressure running a family, a lot of times it's not the actual high blood pressure in the DNA. It's because you keep cooking the same way that grandma was cooking, throwing six, you know what I'm saying, 6 things of butter and all a clumping of sugar and all that, you know what I'm saying, into the food. So like we just gotta really, you know what I'm saying, be conscious of, you know what I'm saying, some of the habits, and then start producing, you know what I'm saying, better habits, but staying in balance. Like it's all right to have a drink, but you know what I'm saying, Saturday night, but you can't get up Sunday and do the same thing. You know what I'm saying? It's creating a balance and living in that harmony and finding what works for us, because I don't eat meat, but that don't work for everybody. You know what I'm saying? You got to find what works for you, and then you take that and you use it to your advantage.
Real talk, real talk. Who got next?
For sure. Yeah, I agree. I agree with that wholeheartedly. Like, you know what I mean? Balance is the key. And you know what I mean? I'm sure we all got our little vices, and we all got the things that we do. We got the things that we eat, but making sure that we're balancing that out. So, I like to drink, that's my drug of choice, alcohol. So, I know if I'm dehydrating my system, I'm putting my poison in my system at night, then in the morning I need to make sure that I'm, flushing out the toxins, and I'm hydrating my system or rehydrating my system, and I'm making sure that I'm that I'm invigorating those cells and getting them back in the movement. Also, physical activity, making sure you're taking care of your cardiovascular health is super key to, thwarting that heart disease. And definitely, I don't know. I think I was talking to you earlier, Vic, but about going to the dentist twice a year. You know what I mean? But not only that, but like going to the doctor twice a year, regular
Yeah.
checkups, every 6 months, getting in there, making sure you're detecting anything that might be going on. I mean, we ain't spring chickens no more. So now it's more pertinent now than ever. I mean, we getting closer to that time where they're gonna be some of us might already be there, where they're gonna be wanting to check your rectum out. So, just making sure that you're in there you know what I mean, and getting checked out, you know, making sure that everything's okay with you. Like, you know, I've been borderline everything for a while. So it's like just making sure that I'm continuing to get better and get better. Cause, you know, sometimes I have those seasons where I'm not doing as much. And those are usually the seasons where I get caught slipping. So, you know, just trying to be more consistent with the things that I'm doing. So it's not seasonal. It's like daily, you know.
Yeah, no, I was man, I'm glad you hit on that, man, because I was definitely gonna bring that up as far as making sure we get our physicals on a year in and year out basis. You know, I mean, we all should have health insurance at this point. Um, it's basically it's free for the most part. Like you gotta go go get your physical. I remember there was one time where I was like healthy as a horse, so I thought, and I went to the doctor and they was like, "Yeah, your cholesterol level is high," and I'm like, "Me? Like that don't make no sense." They was like, "Yeah, your cholesterol is 205," and I'm like, "Oh, that's crazy." And that's when I really started to like dive in and kind of think about what I'm doing, what I'm eating. You know, like I was eating a lot of eggs at the time, and like just that kind of stuff needs like you need to go to the doctor and make sure your vitals is right, man. You gotta get those physicals. But Mo, did you have something to add? And Rod?
Yeah, I did, man. So as I was listening, as I was listening to everybody, man, I was just kind of soaking it in. That's why I decided I wanted to go be one of the later people on this one. Like for me, I don't think balance is my issue. Like moderation. Like I have the type of personality, man. Like I have a season of what this is what I'm doing. That's all I'm doing. So finding that balance is super important for me. You know, and to Leifer's point, man, like in about a month here, man, I'm gonna be 40. You know, I don't know if it's still a thing where you got to see Dr. Longfinger or whatever, but like I'm dreading it. Like, you know what I mean? But at the same time, man, I have a total understanding of, man, I have to like, I've been going through, hell, we've been in corporate America now 15, 17 years, some of us. And, I mean, we focused on getting the money and everything, but man, I want to be here to enjoy it, man. In about 10 years, man, I'm supposed to be done. And like just having a whole nest egg to leave for somebody else, man, that wasn't the plan. So at this point, man, I'm trying to be more intentional about doing the right things. And to Hit's point, like hell, when I first came out of school, man, I was a certified trainer, so it ain't a lack of knowledge. It's just a lack of discipline and a lack of me focusing on what I need to. And like you said, as far as we had health insurance or whatever. So I'm mandated to go to get a healthcare credit every 6 months or whatever. And when I went the last time, obviously we was coming through COVID and that type of stuff. And man, the doctor, she was like super African and super blunt. And she was like, yo, like you're borderline everything, like you're gonna die. And I was like, yo, your bedside manner is trash, but it was what I needed. Like I was like, okay, so let me get myself together. Like everything was like a point away from being, hey, we're gonna prescribe you these pills or whatever. So yeah, I'm trying to be more intentional, and I think this is the season being that 40-year mark is kind of where I'm like, okay, well now I'm coming into that, not necessarily the downside of it, but man, I'm ready to be able to live, for the long haul. So man, I'm actually in my office/gym now, so I need to really get to it. But man, listen to you fellas, man, it actually helped me kind of put that into perspective. This is the next season of what I want to do.
No doubt, no doubt. We got to get on that, man. Like early and often, and think of, and like you said, see the doctor because your doctor was like extremely blunt, like you're borderline everything. You need to change now. You know what I mean? And like I said, like even going to the doctor, I'm like, oh, you have high cholesterol. I'm like, me, high cholesterol? That just don't make no sense. And the funny thing about cholesterol is it has nothing to do with how you work out. It has everything to do with how you eat.
Yeah, diet.
You know what I'm saying? It's all diet based. So what you got, Rod?
Me personally, I'm really trying to. Well, I just turned 35, and I came up eating all that terrible stuff. So I'm having to educate myself and my children on what we can't have in moderation, and trying to find that balance. But I'm now starting to be more intentional about the things that I am putting into my body.
Yo, hey, I want to add though, I think there's a misconception that to be healthy, you got to be perfect.
Right.
And that's not necessarily true, because I tell people all the time, yo, I'd rather you have a drink, go smoke a cigarette, even go hit some tweeds, whatever you got to do, not to be stressed. Because stress will kill you faster than anything you eat, You know what I'm saying? In anything you smoke or anything you drink. So, you know what I mean? Though there's certain things that we need as humans to help relieve ourselves. You know what I'm saying? Like certain, and I mean, it's the truth. Like, this is be honest. And as long as you can, you know what I'm saying, relieve yourself of stress and have those moments where you have that mental clarity, that opportunity to like decompress, you know what I'm saying? That's also something that we need to make sure that we do, is take a time to ourselves and decompress however we do it. You know what I'm saying? Like, we have, some people have better habits than others. Some people read, some people walk barefoot in the grass or whatever, but you got to find something that helps you decompress, because like all the topics that we talked about up to now will stress you the hell out. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Co-parenting.
I have to push back on that though.
But
You can't recommend unhealthy ways to decompress and relieve stress. Like it's you gotta give an alternate of what you're going to do, right? So like you don't say hit a cigarette, you like take a jog. You know what I'm saying? You don't say, you know, hit the tweed. You know what I mean? You say take some ashwagandha or something like that. I don't know. You know, go to sleep. Like get more sleep. It's probably not weed. It's probably rest. You know what I'm
but
saying? So it's I wouldn't never recommend, you know, a negative to just to get by. You know what I'm saying? Like I know, like a heroin addict, you give them a little bump just to get over the shivers or something like that. But nah, like I think you got to offer like complete.
different. Nah, I
You know,
know. So listen,
At the
I'll say,
methadone
so
clinic, huh?
he said shivers. Yo, I'm saying this, right? Until you at that point that you can do that, that's fine. But if you've been stressed out all day and you're in here strictly stressing and you need to smoke a cigarette to relieve that, then by all means, man, smoke that cigarette until you can find a better option. Like, I'm not saying that's the end all be all, you know, but you need to go and take a. I know I had to leave work before I take a shot. You know what I'm saying? And be like, yo, I gotta like decompress for a second. It's fine, man. It's within balance though. I'm not telling you smoke a cigarette every day, but if you got to smoke a cigar and that helps you relieve yourself and then you can come back and refocus, that's fine. But I'm telling you, stress will age you and kill you faster than anything that we just spoke of.
No, that's real. I remember I used to tell my team, man, one of the quotes that I had, I used to just say, I would just have quotes and they would write them on this whiteboard. And one of the quotes that just came out, it was like, man, I want a life that I don't need a vacation from. So that's the whole point of whether it be moderation, whatever, you have to develop those healthy habits. And for me, like, you know, to his point, man, I start off every year as a vegetarian. And it started off as, oh, I'll do a week. And probably about this year, I'll probably try to do 2 to 3 months. But the problem, like I said, is that moderation. Like I'm all or nothing. So what I probably need to do is I need to just limit it going forward. Like I'll limit red meat or whatever. So man, I think this is a really good conversation to kind of self-reflect. So, and I definitely appreciate this conversation so far.
Yeah,
go ahead.
you guys.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm getting some feedback somewhere. I don't know if that's me or what. But yeah, you know, that's crazy that you said that, Mo. Is like that all or nothing personality. Because like, man, I'm literally 0 or 100. So it, you know, and that's where the discipline comes in, because it's really rough, and that's why I always say like it be seasons of stuff for me. You know what I mean? Like I be all in. Like when I'm like, okay, I need to drop 50 pounds. I'm like, boom, I got it, and I'm locked in. 50 pounds is gone within like a month, you know, month and a half, whatever. You know what I mean? And then now it's like, okay, well, I'm drinking, and then now drinking every night. You know what I mean? 6 months, or now I'm on this, and so it's like, you know, it's always like this all or nothing, you know, type of mentality. But that's why I always say it's the balance, because I know when I'm in those moments where I'm so focused on this one thing that I can overdo it. So I need to have, you know, an opposite end of that to be able to pull myself back into some kind of, you know, healthy reality. Because I don't know who I was talking to recently, but my man was like one of the healthiest dudes I know. I mean, used to run. I mean, most of us know him, you know, who on here used to run from Switchbell to Kennywood and back. You know what I mean? And you know what I mean? He was out there grinding all the time out there. The healthiest dude I knew. And you know, he I think he ended up having like a heart attack or something like that. And it was like, man, you know what I mean? But like when you could literally overexert yourself from doing too much activity too. So it's, you know, it's all about balance and making sure you know what your body can handle. So, you know what I mean? To your point earlier, well, not your point, to hit me's point earlier about, you know what I mean? Hey, if you need a cigarette, or hey, if you need a drink, like sometimes you got to meet people where they are. You know what I mean? You can't put your unrealistic expectations of where you are on where they are, because at some point you was where they were and you had to grind yourself back to that point. So, you know, you kind of just got to meet them where they are. Like, hey, look, if you need to do this right now as a short-term solution, do that. But here, let's discuss some better ways to get through this moving forward. And I think that's probably a better way to do it than try to, you know, get on that judgy high horse there where you know, kind of, oh no, you need to do this ashwagandha or the Tongat Ali or some maca root to balance your system out. Everybody ain't ready for that yet. You know, everybody ain't ready for that.
No, but it's not a high horse. But it's really a. I just don't see the benefit in telling somebody to go back to the devil. You know what I'm saying? To find a fix, like a quick. You know what I'm saying? Because he gonna find a way to trap you back in. So, you know, I wouldn't recommend going back to, you know what I'm saying, what got you all caught up in the first place. Like, we wouldn't say that. Like, it just, you know what I mean? Yeah, you need to go back to her, you know what I mean, until you find a better one. No, she toxic. Get out of that. Like, you know what I mean? And that's just, you know, she as a reference, you know what I mean, to a vice that we might have.
I think it's just like, I think the same scenario is like somebody say, well, I'm going on this diet. And on Sunday, you throw away everything that you had in the refrigerator and you put all this stuff that you don't usually eat. By the next Sunday, you're probably gonna have this other stuff back in the refrigerator because you know what I'm saying. You try to create a habit or something that you never had to begin with. So like Styles said, like, yo, you got Scales said, my bad. You gotta definitely like meet somebody where they at and create the habit. But it takes time. But until then, if you're stressing over it, you're probably gonna eat more, right? You're probably then you're getting out of balance. So you know what I'm saying? Mentally, you're out of balance. Your body gonna go out of balance. The spiritually, you're gonna be down. You're probably gonna go, you know what I'm saying, get depressed. It's gonna be a whole, like, it's gonna take you down a rabbit hole. You gotta, you know what I'm saying, to come out of it, it's steps. You know what I'm saying? You gotta create.
I mean, it's cool. I understand what you're saying, but at some point, you're going to have to go through the shakes. There's no way around that.
Yeah, and that was actually going to be my pushback. And like I said before, man, I had that personality trait to where it's all or nothing. Like, I have to be that person that I'm gonna just throw everything away that's bad for me in the house or whatever. Like, I would be that dude that if I was an alcoholic, I would just move to a dry county. Like, I'm never truly healed, but I'm just going, like, I'm gonna stay away from it. So, and then like eventually, like, it's not even a thing anymore because I'm not even thinking about it. But necessarily, you put me right in front of a beer distributor, I might have a problem. But like, I try to create the environment to where it's easy to comply. So it just depends on the person and their personality type.
Cool. Let's get into the next question. So with that, we covered a lot of the bases. You know what I'm saying? But that's just like we just gave a high level view. You know what I mean? Let's kind of dig in a little bit. I want to talk about emotional intelligence and mental toughness, man, and how we develop some skills. How do we develop these skills to have better emotional intelligence and mental toughness to get through the shakes? You know what I'm saying? Because at some point we have to face that demon. You know what I'm saying? And there's really no way around it. I'm gonna bring my homie up. I'd be your trainer. He's a natural specialist, so I'm gonna get him up here, see what he got to say. What's going on?
What's up, bro? What's up, fellas? Man, my apologies. I'm late, man. I don't know why. I put on my schedule 9 o'clock and everything. It's still
missing the mark.
Got the time. My bad.
But we went over the first couple questions. You know what I mean? You can kind of jump in and get your perspective. I know you have some some knowledge about some of these things, and you just missed a great one, because as far as you have all the natural knowledge of the ashwagandhas and the what is it, the grass, the wheat grass, or the wheat germ, and all that. So you specialize in that kind of stuff. And the first two questions was what's the connection between your mind, body, and spirit? How can we get ahead of heart disease, And what we're on now is what we're leading into is how do we develop our skills as far as emotional intelligence and mental toughness. So that's kind of where we're headed. And you know, I got another specialist coming on. This guy Joe Lemon. What's going on? Remember, just drop a bomb for both of y'all. But it seemed like Joe Lemon got that slow internet connection. You know what I mean? You should have called me for your IT support. But go ahead, Abraham, man. What you got on those on those questions?
For sure, for sure. Well, first of all, man, I'll formally introduce myself, man. My name is IB Sangoa, also known as IBO Trainer, the People's Health Coach. And I'm a co-founder of a weight loss firm and CEO of the Effortless Weight Loss System, where I help busy professionals lose weight with ease and keep it off forever without dieting or stepping foot in the gym. And so I'll jump into the question. I'll try to be as precise as possible. One thing that I think that we need to understand, or we should understand, is the connection between, like, first of all, is like the anatomy, right? When we're talking about mental health and things like that, but the actual anatomy of the brain, right? So many people fail to realize that it's going to be difficult to control your thoughts and your mental if the actual anatomy of your brain is not in its healthiest state. All right. So what I mean by that is, I'll give an example. Your bicep controls flexion at the elbow, right? If your bicep is not working, you can't flex your arm, right? So if your bicep is injured, you can't actually go through the movement of flexing at the arm. So it's the same thing with, you know, with your brain and your thoughts. So we're attacking, you know, mental awareness, like we're attacking the idea that it's just our thoughts and we got to get our thoughts together, but we're missing the root. The root is we have an unhealthy temple in general. So now it makes it harder to control your thoughts. It makes it harder to be to create you know, sustainability when it comes to your mental health. It makes it that much harder because your hardware is not where it needs to be. That's another way that I like to describe it. Your thoughts is your software, your brain is the hardware, right? So, you know, when you think about a computer, if the hardware is not working, it doesn't matter what software you tried to update, it serves no purpose. The only way that the software can serve purpose is if the hardware is intact. You know what I'm saying? So that's like the root. The foundation of it is that we got to get, you know, we got to get healthier in general. You know what I mean? And create some better habits that will help us build a healthier body in general. And then you can start to build off of that and improve your mental state.
Mr. Lemon, what's going on, my guy?
Yo, can you hear me now, bro?
Yeah, we can hear you. What's your perspective on those first two questions? How can we beat heart disease, and what's the connection between your mind, body, and spirit?
Man, you know, I feel like the connection between your mind, body, and spirit, I feel like your whole spirit's the bridge, bro. Like I've been thinking about this recently. I got a couple guys that I've been trying to get more, a couple trainers that I've been working with out in the West, and they're bringing in more of the whole spiritual connection. Because, like, you know, trying to separate your mind from your body is, you know what I mean? People try to do that and like talk and like, you know, they use kind of phrases like, you know what I mean, just being mentally tough and whatnot. And that's there, but man, if your body's broken, exactly how my man was just saying, like you ain't gonna be able to really get nothing done like that though, bro. I mean, like if you got bad hardware, all that software is gonna be tough to really process. So I think having the whole spiritual piece is the piece that really kind of gets things back online. At least that's how I'm kind of thinking about it right now. Um, Heart disease is a killer, man. It's killing cats, bro, left and right. So I mean, just putting that on people's mind frame is something that I don't think it even comes up nearly enough. I mean, cats is just still trying to look good for the most part, but I mean, but hands down, like just trying to be here is something that's got to be a part of it more so than anything. So yeah, just a couple thoughts, dog.
Anybody want to elaborate on anything they said, or go to the next
So
question?
actually, I had a question for the last two gentlemen that was talking. Like, so y'all were talking about hardware and software. So I just wanted to clarify. So what does that mean? Are we talking nutrition? Like, well, I guess what's the first step? Is it nutrition or what? Because that's where I was going with it. But I just wanted clarity on that.
Absolutely, man. Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. But yeah, absolutely. That's pretty much where it starts, man. I think that there's a huge disconnect between what it is that we put in our body and how it affects us on a day-to-day basis. Specifically, in our community, in the African American community, I don't think that we take it serious enough and really are in alignment with the idea that, like, you hear it, right? You are what you eat, but I don't really feel like people understand that food is a form of sustenance of life, right? Your cells, they can only they need energy, right? And they need nutrients, and they get that from your food sources, right? So when you're not giving your body what it needs in the form of food, to begin with, then again you setting yourself behind. So I think having a clear understanding that what you eat plays a huge role in the way that your body develops and the way that your body performs. Even again, speaking simply about mental health, like most people don't even know that vitamin D deficiency can lead to mental issues, simply because your brain needs, vitamin D. You know what I'm saying? So if you're deficient in that area, then again, you're not building the correct hardware that's going to be able to function at the highest level. You get what I'm saying? So it definitely starts with nutrition.
Yeah, bro. I mean, yeah, man. I would definitely just jump on that, man, because everything that you just said, like having that food right is your life, like day in, day out. You really can't beat that. And I would just say, just even like layer right on top of that is, man, like do a straight assessment of where you're at, like mentally, physically, get some actual blood work done. It might cost a couple dollars, but it's definitely worth the actual investment. Like, because knowing where you need to put some work in at is mandatory. Like, just kind of, going to the gym and say, hey, I need to get stronger. All right, that's cool. Facts. I mean, you might need to do that, but it's like, knowing exactly which parts of your body are actually lacking. You know what I'm saying? Like, where do you want to have some decent type of symmetry at? Like, so actually run some numbers on yourself so you can actually have some hard data to really start working towards something.
That's kind of what we alluded to earlier. Making sure you go get your physical and you go get checked, man. Get your blood work done. Get your cholesterol checked. You know what I mean? Like, you never know what's going on. You never know, what's over or under or what you need more of. You know what I mean? Until you run them tests and get those numbers back. So let's go ahead and attack the next question. How do we start building skills, for our emotional intelligence and mental toughness? Who want to go first?
I guess I'll jump out there. I mean, the way that I mentor my community is pretty much just starting off. It's a 3-frame process, right? In any endeavor in which you're trying to improve, right? So it starts off with awareness. So even just piggybacking awareness and consciousness. So piggybacking off of my man Joe, like getting certain tests and things done and understanding where you are currently and understanding your current state, right? So it starts with that, right? Having a level of awareness and consciousness. And then second, once you understand where it is that you are, then you begin to educate yourself, all right? So if you are aware that this is where I'm at with it, this is what I'm struggling with, these are areas that I feel like I need to improve. The second space that you need to go to is you need to become competent, at least you don't have to be a genius at it, but you need to gain some level of competence so that you can improve. You can improve in the place that you are. And then lastly, once you start to gain some competence in that area so that you can improve, now you got to take intentional action, right? So a lot of times people say knowledge is power, but knowledge unapplied, however, knowledge unapplied is irrelevant. So we harp on the fact that we need to learn more, but learning is not enough. Once you start to grasp the concepts and information, then now you got to start taking intentional action and applying what it is that you're learning. And it doesn't have to be, big steps. I mean, a lot of times and the crazy thing about it is when I talk about big steps, one of the things that set us back is that we overwhelm ourselves with trying to do too much. We take for granted the small steps that make a big difference. We take for granted the compound effect. We take for granted doing the little things that over time add up. You get what I'm saying? That way you don't overwhelm yourself. So that's just a basic 3-frame process that I like to utilize when it comes to trying to progress.
Yeah, I think that so I said I'll piggyback on that's a great point. I think we gotta start with just definitely educating ourselves and understanding how to build and what steps to take. So like often you hear people say, I'm gonna start eating healthy, I'm gonna start eating salads. But you gotta make, then they'll eat a salad, and the next thing you know, they're deficient in some areas. You gotta make sure you're eating in balance and that you're educating yourself on what you eat. And also you gotta get off of social media, except for this platform right here, except for this podcast. Y'all keep watching this. But, you know what I'm saying? Because you know what I'm saying, people, you get impatient, you're looking at people who might not even did it the way they say they're doing it. You know what I'm saying? And you start getting impatient and you won't follow the process. So even you try to circumvent things, or you know what I'm saying, you just all out give up and quit. You know what I'm saying? You gotta be patient and you know what I'm saying, follow the process and understand, as I said, the small things is gonna create, you know what I'm saying, the big wins eventually.
Somebody else want to speak on it?
So, man, I think all those were good points, and not necessarily pushback, but just kind of, I challenged, all the gentlemen that just spoke. For me, man, I think a lot of it is unlearning stuff, because the way I knew how to be healthy and the way I knew to do these things was through being an athlete and doing a lot of those types of things. So, if anything, I was a smaller guy, so I was always trying to bulk up. Like literally, when I would eat, I would say, okay, well, let me go get a pizza. It was to eat the whole pizza because I had to bulk up on all my calories in order to, because I'm practicing 2-3 times a day where I'm working out. So I had to actually bulk up and that type of thing. So I have to find a new way to be able to do this for this new lifestyle. So I'm still eating as if somebody who's exerting that, but man, I'm like you said, a busy professional. So there has to be a new framework for me. And I have to unlearn some of my ways, because I'll go into a gym and I'm doing an old workout from the off season, and people are in this professional gym looking at me like, what is he doing? So, and I might hurt myself because I'm about to be 40. I'm not 22 no more. So it's one of those things where I have to unlearn some of those things, and I'm going to probably have to find some frameworks and some guardrails to do it in this new life that I have right now.
Yeah, bro.
So,
I mean, man. I just want to jump on it too, though, dog, because this is. I mean, everybody's speaking. Everybody's speaking, man. Everybody's spitting, bro. And it's like, I feel like it's one of those things where we gotta unlearn some stuff, and we can't be like thin skinned about stuff too. I feel like a lot of cats, you don't want to bring certain things to your boys because they might not take it the right way. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I'm saying? So like, while we're trying to build our actual EQ on everything, we gotta be willing to kind of like say that we don't know nothing in this area and really try to seek it out. You know what I mean? And so I think just a piece of it, a large piece of it, is just being humble enough to kind of say, all right, you know what I mean? I got to take 4 or 5 steps back so I can go pick something up with this one.
Good, Leifer. What you got?
yeah, I mean, so speaking on emotional intelligence specifically, like, for me, how I really govern myself with, managing and trying to maintain sound emotional intelligence is like through through self-awareness, discipline, and focus. Like, for me, it's just like understanding who I am, knowing, what my triggers are, knowing, you know what I mean, what things might make me go too left or too right. And then, finding a way to work through those things and discipline myself to make the right decisions, whether that's eating right, whether that's, working out, whether that's, you know what I mean, reading books to keep expanding my mind and my brain cells, whatever that may be, vitamins, minerals, and then, being able to create the focus that I need to stay on that, like daily, you know what I mean, and making it a daily routine. So it's just like, waking up and going to sleep is just another aspect of my daily routine to make sure that I'm making the right decisions to keep myself healthy, to make sure that I'm around to see my kids grow up and my grandkids, and hopefully my great grandkids.
So I'm kind of along that line, right? As far as building your mental toughness and emotional intelligence is practice and practice and practice, right? That's one thing I love sports for. You know what I'm saying? Like playing sports, it's a controlled environment where you can actually practice being down, being up, going through it. You know, all the emotions that we experience in watching a game, playing a game, being dedicated to a game. That's very much simulation. You know what I'm saying? So that's taught me emotional toughness, and also, I mean, well, I mixed them, but emotional intelligence and mental toughness is like being down and at the end of a game and knowing that I got to keep pushing and for a chance we might win, like, you know what I mean. And you can't lose that hope. And I don't know if y'all ever had that feeling, like in the middle of, like, you playing a game and let's say you win, but then that feeling of, hey, we might lose. How do you know what I'm saying? Like we just might lose if we don't quit playing. Like, you know what I mean? And I think that feeling right there makes more men than, you know what I mean? It changes something about you. That feeling, just to be connected that much to have, like, man, I need to change something because I might die if I don't, you know what I'm saying, stop these ways. You know what I mean? Like the doctor told me, like, it's so whenever we see those things in real life and having those emotions, all right, I know what I need to do. And the football workouts I love continuing to do because that's when I was at my best. So that's what I always go to. Like, you know what I'm saying? When was I in my most incredible shape? So I always kind of lean to, well, go back to what I love doing. You know what I mean? And that's kind of how I'm not saying it's the right way. I'm just saying that's the way. Like, if I haven't worked out in a while, first thing I'm gonna do is go power clean and squat, like easy, like today. You know what I mean? So, and I mean, that's just me. Anybody want to elaborate on anything, or y'all want to go to the next question?
Well, real quick, I'll touch on that because that's good stuff, and I think many men move in that space, but I do want us to take heed when it comes to doing that, because that's also, again, a lot of the times it's the things in our past that we're trying to relive that add on to our distress. You know what I'm saying? So let's use that for an example. You trying to go back and be who you were when it's, one, not necessary, and two, it's not possible. Right? And what I mean by that is, it doesn't mean that you can't be your highest self now, but trying to be your highest self now and using who you were in the past to become that's actually a dangerous place to be. And that's what causes us mental, distress at times, because now we are going back and forth between the stress of, like, man, why can't I do it just like I used to? Right? Think about that. Think about how many times we've heard, like, the old heads or the OG or our uncles, and we talking, they like, man, back in my day, you know what I'm saying? Like, I was this and I was that. And it's kind of like you living in the past and you're trying to build the present and the future off of that. And it's difficult to do, and it's impossible to do that. To be honest, it's just impossible to do that, because you can't recreate something that's already done. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to focus on now, the tools that you have now, the skill sets that you have now, the space that you're in right now, and you got to focus on that and utilize that to move forward. So sometimes, I challenge just to take heed when we're doing that. A lot of times when we figure that we're trying to move forward and we're using the past to do that, and we're going back trying to figure out, man, how can I be that I was back then? Because you feel like that is when you were valuable. You don't value yourself now, you know what I'm saying, and where you are now, and you feel like you were more valuable when you were the man on your football team, when you was the captain, when you were scoring 4 touchdowns a game. You feel like that's when you was valuable, but you feel like you're subconsciously, you may not consciously think that, but subconsciously you feel like you may be less than now. That's why you got to go back to who you were in the past.
Man,
bomb that flex, bomb that.
hey, that just opened up a whole new wave of thinking for me just now. Like I've never done that. I've never wanted to evaluate because I still go out like I'm like 22. I'll still go out and play all these intramural sports like I'm like 19. Like, and it's been a part of my happiness. You know what I'm saying? Like I put in my head like the way I stay happy, and it works for me. But I mean, what you said was definitely powerful. But I put in my head how I continue to be happy is to do the things I did when I was happy, when I was 16. And what did we do when we were 16? We went to school, we went to practice, and then we hit the hoop court, and we come home, eat something, watch some cartoons, go to bed. But we were happy in those rotations, you know what I'm saying, of that. Just going to the hoop court, chopping it up with your homies real quick, you know what I mean? Dominate. And I still come home like, babe, yo, you should have seen me on the court today. You know what I'm saying? And I know she don't want to hear it. You know what I mean? But I still do it. Like I come home like, yo, these young boys, they couldn't see me today. Like, so I mean, I definitely still live in the glory, and I think I still have everything I was. But I definitely can go with reevaluating who you are right now. You know what I'm saying? Like that was definitely a bomb, a jewel you just dropped. Like evaluate who you are right now and see what you can do to become your most optimal self at this point, instead of thinking like yourself at 22, who you was at that point and what you did, whatever. Like, you know what I mean? But now I'm here and I need to figure this out, what I'm doing. You know what I mean? No, that's definitely dope. Anybody want to elaborate?
Yeah, so to all y'all point, man, so that's definitely dope. And as I mentioned before, man, like so I kind of battle with that, but I also had the realization that I'm about to be 40 years old. So for me, like I'm at that realization, I'm like, oh well, I don't need to be, 9% body fat and 4.3740. So I have that realization. I've come to that. It's not until somebody challenges me to be like, oh, you ain't, and that's when I go back to that. So I've came to that realization, and I understand that I need to be the most optimum self now. But it's the people that remember of what I used to be, and they challenge me to that. That's the only time I ever revert back to that. But I use it as, I know I can overcome, and I know I can be elite if I apply myself. But I came to that realization, especially like once I was out of athletics and I got to a point where I had a family, and like I was like, yo, that's not my reality anymore. My reality is, man, I'm working 10 hours a day. I got a family, and like I don't have time to be in the gym or be doing box jumps or anymore. Plyometrics is not for me no more. My knees is too bad. So with that being said, I'm not going to be explosive I used to be, but I have to, like I said before, I have to unlearn a lot of stuff that I was previously doing in order to do it for right now's reality. So that's something that I challenge myself to work on going forward.
I think it says every 7 years you pretty much have a new body. Like, your body, your cells regenerate and everything happens. So every 7 years. So with that being said, I think it's almost impossible to do what you did before because you have an entire new body. You know what I'm saying? And you got to just pattern your workouts to what you have and what you're dealing with at that moment. Because I think that could be like Abby said, that could be a detriment. You know what I'm saying? That could really set you back mentally and physically if you're trying to perform or trying to do something that you really can't recreate. Like I love running. You know what I'm saying? But I can't run 10 miles like I used to. You know what I'm saying? I could run it, but I can't come back and do it again. You know what I'm saying? Because my body is different. It responds different. And I got to understand that. And you know what I'm saying? But I can still be a strong runner. You know what I'm saying? I just got to do it a different way.
And really quick, bro, to piggyback off of that. So my case in point is this. It's not saying that you can't still be your highest self, right? It's not even saying that you can't still do many of the things that you may have done before. It's just the intent behind it. All right. So what is the intent? Everything is about intention. What is the intention behind running 10 miles, right? And this is just an example, not necessarily you, but like if you were running 10 miles back then in forms of competition, if you're not really in competition right now, but you really just still trying to improve your aerobic state, you know what I mean, get some physical activity in, then now is 10 miles really necessary? or is it counterproductive and counterintuitive to what you're trying to do right now, right? So you can use the league as an example. Look at the dudes in the NBA, right? They may come into, what do you have to do now to be at a high level? They may come in dunking every play, but as they age and as they get smarter, right, and they get more efficient, they start realizing 2 points is 2 points. My intention when I came in was to electrify the crowd and score 2 points. But now the name of the game is just get a bucket. I can get that with just a post up. I can get that with just a layup. It's the same 2 points and it still get the job done. It's still effective. You know what I'm saying? So they're still performing at a high level, but they're only doing what's necessary. You get what I'm saying? As opposed to, oh, let me keep doing what I was doing 10 years ago when it's not even necessary at this point in time.
All right, let's jump into the next one. So, what techniques or beliefs do we use to keep our spiritual man in line? I don't think we dove too much into that yet, but I kind of want to full circle this thing out. But how do we keep our spiritual light up? You know what I mean? So, what y'all got for that?
I'll jump in on that one too, man. I got a lot of this in my brain going, but be quiet. So I purposely did that to give you a second to listen, right? So a lot of times as men, we don't really, your spirit knows best. Your spirit talking to you all the time, but you just talking too much. And so therefore you can't hear it. You get what I'm saying? So as men, because we know that, like, typically as a man, you are a natural born leader. You are born into the role of head of household and things like that. A lot of times for us, it's about speaking and saying our piece and saying what it is that we feel needs to get across, right? And a lot of times we just not quiet enough to listen to what it is that our spirit is trying to tell us. That's the whole point behind meditation. So when people think meditation is whack or is too much or like, why would I do that? That's like the art. Meditation is the art of consciousness. It's the art of being quiet. So you don't got to do your fingers like this to meditate. You literally can take a moment. You know what I'm saying? That's another thing that's resistance. Like people think you got to wear certain stuff. You got to do all of this. You ain't got to do all of that to practice meditation. Meditation is as simple as being quiet. You know what I'm saying? You can be in your car before you go to work, and before you start the car, you can sit for 3 minutes, for 2 minutes, take a deep breath, and just breathe and listen to what your spirit is trying to tell you before you move forward. But a lot of times we don't practice that. You know what I'm saying? We don't practice the art of listening. We don't practice the art of, sitting and being quiet enough to hear and understand what our spirit is trying to reveal to us, so that we can elevate that space.
Anybody want to jump in next?
Yes, I completely agree. So what I was gonna say, and it's similar to what the Ravi was saying, is like prayer, meditation, and conversation is how I really, deal with my spirit. And what I mean by that is like, I try to, I pray all the time and I meditate so I can quiet my mind, but I'm also having conversations with the God in me. You know what I mean? Trying to make sure that I'm aligned, mind, body, and spirit at all times, but and connected to everything around me. Because if you think about, the human body, it's literally made up of everything that the universe is made up of. So it's all connected in one way. So, having that understanding and just, trying to take out trying to eliminate the noise, the noise and the distraction, just finding some place somewhere where I could just focus on, just trying to have that connection. And, like you said, be quiet, shut up, be still, and allow things to happen, allow that conversation to happen, allow the communication to transpire. You know what I mean? I think that is definitely key. And I think that's what a lot of people, you know, a lot a lot of people don't get that, they're terrified of um, um I'm trying to remember what my daughter calls it, but just they're terrified of silence. You know what I mean? Like they always feel like they got to fill the quiet air. There always needs to be something said, but sometimes there's a time where you just need to listen. You know what I mean? And then things will be revealed to you. So I think that's optimal for connecting to your spirit, because the spirit is always talking and connecting with you and trying to let you know that things are bad or things are good, or things are working or things aren't working. And sometimes we just don't listen. We were talking over them, over that spirit or over that interconnection or over that inner God, and saying, no, this is what I want. And that's when we always have to deal with the repercussions of those actions.
Anybody want to jump in next?
Yeah, that was too real. So two things came to mind as all those gentlemen was talking. One of the things is I remember I used to tell my team is, one, I never trust somebody to try to finish my sentence. And then two was, God gave you 2 ears and 1 mouth. So I say you should be listening 2 times more than you talk. Because if you're trying to be the smartest person in the room all the time and you're trying to finish my statement, I'm like, yo, you're gonna miss what I'm saying because you're too busy guessing the price is right. I was like, no, I need you to listen to what I'm saying. Or maybe you just need to listen to yourself. Calm yourself, get together, because that's something that I always found myself doing. Even as a young dude, like I was a very intrinsic thinker. Whenever there was chaos around me, man, I could just go by myself. I could be in a dark room and I would just, man, how am I going to get through this? How can I, persevere through this or whatever? And I didn't always have to be the loudest in the room. I would just be like, I could sit back and watch it, and I could be at a party and people like, hey, man, you good? Well, yeah, I'm fine. Like, you don't always have to be the center of attention. Sometimes you just have to find the God in you, or just, some people don't necessarily like that phrase. But for me, I just like to find that inner voice. And generally, it doesn't lead me wrong when I'm truly listening to myself.
Joe?
Yo, man, them was the biggest ones, dog. I can't even lie. Like shutting up and in prayer, like nonstop. Definitely just tapping in with yourself, like, you know what I mean? And like I guess one tactic I do is just doing it through breathing, like just really just taking deeper breaths in through my nose, out through my mouth, belly breathing. You know what I mean? So it's not just kind of like this place where you always got this anxious ass breath pattern, where you just kind of, you know what I mean? Like we kind of roll around with all this damn anxiety. So breath work is definitely one little piece of it, but it's all about the prayer, and it's all about just being still, I would say. Because action for me is easy, but like trying to stop is where the problem happens. You know what I mean? So yeah.
Man, for me, so I go biblical. I get back and start looking for words of Jesus and reading Job, and I when it's time to get my spirit back in line, and I've been outside a little too long, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm like, whoa, like I ring this in, and I start going to Bible studies. You know what I'm saying? I don't necessarily go to church, but I got a couple like Bible groups that I'll tap into, and just to realign like where my principles came from. You know what I'm saying? So it's definitely like Jesus for me. Like so, I'll dig back into that and just start reading the Bible again, and start refeeding. And so you guys are saying be quiet, be quiet, be quiet, and I guess for me it's like replenish, replenish, replenish. You know what I'm saying? And so it's not necessarily a quiet thing. But you got to be quiet in order to take more in. You know what I'm saying? So it's for me it's kind of like a first in, first out. Like as I push more, like as you eat more good food and push the bad food out, your body starts cycling, and you know what I'm saying, getting that old stuff out. You know what I mean? Let your blood flow and let it push those negative things out. And that's kind of how I kind of attack it. You know what I'm saying? When I've been doing too much or I need to reconnect, I just start engulfing. I start reading the Bible more, start praying more, and I get real spiritual then. Like when things you know what I'm saying, when things started to go haywire. So that's kind of how I handled keeping my spirit man in line.
Hey, yo, Kev.
Yeah.
Question for you, bro, because it's funny, man. Like I'm right there with you. I do Bible study. You already know. I don't go to church too much as I used to, but definitely the Bible groups is solid for me whenever I can catch them once it's needed. But like, why you always go to Job, bro? Because I always hear you talk. Well, I always, but every once in a while you always bring up Job as your, you know what I mean? As you know what I mean? as your whole main
Man, so
point of reference, dog.
Job is a powerful book. As in, if you ever needed to know how to be as a man, read the book of Job, and he walks you through a man who's had everything, lost everything. Um, when he sought out help, and his peers came in, and as we like talk to our folk about our issues, and they're suggesting different things, like maybe you did this, or maybe you did that, or and everybody's just hitting you from all these different ways. You know what I'm saying? And the man had everything and lost everything, losing kids. Like there's nothing he didn't deal with. You know what I mean? Even to the point of like the devil left him as woman. You know what I'm saying? Took his kids, but left him as woman. But why? He was strategic to leave him as woman, so his woman could be like, won't you curse God? Won't you do this? Won't you do that? You know what I mean? If anybody gonna get to us, it's gonna be our woman. So like, and the way he handled it, man, it's just you can't match it with anybody else. Like the way Job handled all those different things, battling him, and he had no clue, like dealing with monkeypox to a degree. Like you know what I'm saying? Like he had it all. So the way he handled himself, if you needed to learn how to be a man, like Job is the guy to like kind of pattern after, like, you know what I'm saying, just on how to handle life.
Yeah. Yo, is it my turn?
Yeah, go for it, bro.
Well, I got to go, man. You know what I'm saying? So just to try to tie it all in, I know we talked about, you know what I'm saying, the mind, the body, spirit. So for me, it's just to feed the body substance, things that's critical, like things we take for granted, like sleep, you know what I'm saying, and making sure that the mind is functioning. You know what I mean? And then I feed my mind in the same manner as I feed my body. So if I go, you know what I'm saying, if I want to do organic, I'm making sure that I'm doing this. I'm making sure that I'm putting the right things in my mind. Like I said, like cut the social media off sometimes, you know what I'm saying? Watch what you watching and what you reading and what you taking in, because that affects you spiritually as well, you know what I'm saying? And the things and the actions and stuff that you're doing. So that's another thing. And I think the biggest thing for me, what I had to learn through my journey, is that I got to forgive myself. Like, I understand that I'm not perfect, you know what I'm saying? And that it's all right to slip. It's all right. It's a journey, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I mean? They say, like, you're a Christian, say, like, I'm not perfect, but I'm faithful. You know what I'm saying? Like, I understand that, you know what I mean? I'm gonna make a mistake. I could be my biggest critic, you know what I'm saying? To my detriment. But that I understand that this is a journey, you know what I'm saying? And in this journey, on this drive, I'm gonna veer off the path, but I'm gonna get back on it. You know what I'm saying? That, you know what I mean? That I'm in it to the end. So, you know what I mean? I'm not as critical of myself, even though I hold myself to the same expectations, but I understand I ain't gonna be perfect. You know what I mean? And that helps me mentally continue to go and drive, you know what I'm saying? Not fall all the way off the wagon. You know what I'm saying?
Real talk. All right. I only keep y'all for about a good hour. I don't, you know what I'm saying? I don't keep y'all too late. I got one more question, and then, you know what I'm saying, we're going to kind of, summarize this thing. We got kind of deep, on this one. I want to lighten it up just a little bit, but it's still deep enough, man. Us being, I don't know what you'll call us, right? I don't know if you'll call us middle-aged or up in it. I don't know. We're good. I'm pretty good. I don't know. Like,
we young, dog.
yeah, I don't know. I'm pretty good, but I think there's a thing floating out there that, you know what I'm saying, like, men has, we have this longevity, but like I said, we have a hard time living past 50. Also, as we get up in age, man, that we deal with some things that don't be functioning how we want them no more. Like, you know what I mean? So I think I know where I'm going with this, you know what I'm saying? So what's your thoughts on how to extend our sexual peaks? And then on top of that, what's your thoughts on the supplements that are out there? The Blue Chews, the honey packs, you know what I'm saying? The stuff out there, them gas station pills. Like, if you use them, what kind of experiences are they do's and don'ts to them? Or what's your thoughts on these things, man?
I say that's like putting jet fuel in a Ferrari, man.
I mean, do you deem it safe? Like, how do you know what I'm saying? Like, is it something that you would tell your son to be like, hey man, you know, all you gotta do is pop this, pop that, blah 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 blah. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because I mean, that's out there. Like, what's your thoughts like on taking them, or you know what I'm saying, preventing having to take them?
I mean, look, man, look. I mean, like, I really view that as like, that's one of them short term games, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's here for tonight, but that ain't no long term run. You ain't about to run no marathon on the blue pills, dog. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's gonna wear out over time. Just from the pure fact that your body's gonna adapt to it over time. Like, you know what I mean? If you start having it on a regular basis and you want to try to get in there like a couple times a week and you gotta go grab an actual pack each time, your body's gonna start to actually adapt to it. And then that ain't gonna be enough. Then it's gonna go from 1 pack to 2 packs. You know what I'm saying? I mean, like, it's gonna keep going up and up, dog. Like, that's how the body works. It's just gonna adapt. You know what I mean? So, like, nah, man. I mean, I think one of the best things that you can actually do is fast. I think fasting allows your body to kind of cleanse itself and really go through this actual self-healing, get you like a gang of water in you, like literally, like, yo, having something where you have like a gallon of water before noon, dog. Like, man, great for brain health, great for sexual function, blood flow. That's shit. I mean, that's what you really need just to kind of get things back in the game anyway. So that was my two first moves first, man. Fast and get some water in you, dog.
Yeah, bro took the word right out of my mouth with fasting. But fasting is one of the best tools that you can use for healing, just like he said. And honestly, man, like, again, bro said it, like, that's a short-term game. It's not getting to the root ultimately. So when you taking stuff like that, and we all been there, we've been there, done that, right? You know what I mean? And you know, I done played around with it before when I was young, and you know what I mean. We've all, you know, well, I'll speak for myself. You know what I mean, as men, sometimes you just messing around with stuff, just to see what happened. You know what I'm saying? Especially when you out there, when you in these streets. That's what I was doing when I was in the streets. You know what I'm saying? But nonetheless, it's gonna cause more harm than anything. That stuff destroys your body. Yeah, I mean, and when you understand the basic functions of the body, you'll realize that it's just blood flow, man. When you talk about being able to be at your peak, that's really a muscle. You know what I'm saying? So really, if you're not able to get it how it should be, then you got blocked blood flow. You know what I'm saying? So now you got to do the things that's going to get to the root of that, which is, you know, creating more blood flow to the entire body. Because if that's not functioning well, I guarantee that's not the only thing that's going on. You know what I'm saying? If that's an issue, trust me, if you go get your blood pressure checked, you probably got high blood pressure. If you get your cholesterol checked, you probably got high cholesterol. You get what I'm saying? Like, these things that's really a reflection of the rest of your overall health. When that starts happening, that's a sign that other things, you know what I mean, are not functioning at a high level. You know what I'm saying? So just take heed to that, and that's a powerful. I actually just came off a fast. I got a protocol called a reset that I created, going on like probably 8 years now, and I do it every month, pretty much every month, and it includes a fast. So fasting is powerful, man. If anybody that hasn't done a form of a fast or a detox before, you're missing out on an asset to your health.
What's the safest time you should fast?
The time that's best for you. That's a legitimate answer. Like, again, you know, you try to find all of these, like, well, what's the best time? What's this? What's that? The reality is this: like, do it when it's best for you. Do it when you feel, you know what I mean, like, you need it. You know what I'm saying? Like, because it's an alignment. It's not just physical. So it's actually the reason why it's such a powerful tool, because it helps with mind, body, and spirit. So when you're fasting, the idea is not just that you're fasting from food. The idea is that you're fasting from toxic people. You're fasting from toxic food. You're fasting from toxic thoughts. You get what I'm saying? Like, you're detoxing the entire your entire being. You get what I'm saying? So anytime that you could just sit again, and you have time where you can extend yourself, where you can put yourself first, and you don't have because it's gonna force you to sit down. Remember, you talked about like it being difficult to like slow down. fasting and detoxing will force you to slow down. It'll force you to be still. You know what I mean? And then because you're not overwhelming the body, you can hear it. You know what I'm saying? So your body isn't focused on digesting a bunch of foods. Again, you're not, you can hop off social media and things like that, and you'll be able to hear a little bit more clearly what your spirit is trying to say to you. You know what I'm saying? So anytime you can do one, man, anytime you're at a time to do one and you can commit to one, you should.
Who else want to jump in?
I think Joe, yeah, just certain herbs that, men should have in them, you know what I'm saying, that helps with vitality, whatever. Like, you know what I'm saying, like horny goat weed with ginseng, I know the sea moss, certain roots and stuff that we can take naturally. I mean, that help us. Like, I'm not gonna sit here like, to get it, everybody want to get an edge, you know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? You want to, especially you want to perform, you know what I'm saying? You want an edge. It's just like, you know what I'm saying, the athletes, you know what I'm saying, they take pre-workouts or whatever, you know what I'm saying, whatever before you perform. That's great. But I think to the point of the panel, if it's something that you need to, you know what I'm saying, to perform, that's why I said it's like putting jet fuel in a Ferrari. You know what I'm saying? You already a Ferrari. You just got something, you just gonna break the speed record. You know what I'm saying? But if you needed to perform, then yeah, you might need to, you know what I'm saying, go and look into that. And look at, because it could be something bigger with your health, man. That's important.
Yeah, and I want to say I agree with with Mr. Lemon and Mr. IB. You know what I mean? Like it's definitely one of those things where you really have to you got to look into your health, and you got to look into your habits. I don't know much about those things out there, but I mean, talking about holistically, like he was Hippie was talking about holistic things like horny wheat or horny goat and things like that. But I was even talking about earlier, you know what I mean, the maca root and the ashwagandha and the tonga ali, and you know what I mean, just things like that, where you know what I mean, you got supplements that'll they're like vitamins that'll help you, just maintain and keep your blood flow levels, because at the heart of it, that's what it is. It's blood flow, and in certain areas that keeps you at your level. And you know what I mean, some of that comes down to your diet, some of that comes down to your stress, some of that comes down to just your environment. So you got to be cognizant of everything around you, which I think is the key to their idea of fasting, like being cognizant of your surroundings, being cognizant of your diet, and allowing your body to heal itself. Because if you really understand the body and the intricacies of it, like the body is intelligent, like it'll heal itself. If you give it the right environment and you feed it the right things, it will heal itself. You know what I mean? You don't have to do nothing. But the problem is, and the reason why a lot of us need doctors is because we feeding them this bull crap. We putting all this stuff in our bodies that's really like chemicals, and our bodies aren't able to break these things down. They're not organic things. So these are the things that are causing the cancers. These are the things that are causing the mucus. These are the things that are causing the diseases that now we got to go to doctors and we got to seek them out to help us get through our own issues, when we could have probably thwarted a lot of those things with, a diet change, you know what I mean? An uptick in some cardiovascular health, a uptick in your physical, your physical workouts, or you're just moving more, you know what I mean? And you just, you're expanding your mind, and you're thinking more, and you're learning more about your body. And I always try to get to the point that, all of our bodies aren't the same. We're not all made up of the, we're made up of the same, I guess, general things. But when it comes to our individual bodies, it takes different things for us to function at an optimal level. So you just, going back to that self-awareness point, knowing yourself and knowing what you need to get to that point of optimal, then I don't think that some of these experimental things are necessarily necessary. Although, we've all been young, and he said he'll speak for himself, but I'll speak for all of us. We've all been young. And, it said, let me, I got this, the let out of the club. Let me see if this thing will work, put a little extra something on it. You know what I
Right.
mean?
You're gonna burn your stem out, man. Don't do it.
And you know what I mean? And that was what it was. But you know what I mean? Definitely, I mean, just like I said, the macaroon, the Tangata Ali, the ashwagandha, you know what I mean? All of those things, the
Hey,
ginseng,
watermelon rind.
watermelon rind, yeah,
Watermelon
yeah,
rind is
for
the truth.
sure.
Hey,
Throw that in
if
the
you want,
juicer, the
if you
watermelon
want
rind with
something
the
all
mint,
day,
Look at y'all, man.
yeah,
hey,
the
listen,
watermelon.
watermelon rind is the truth. Watermelon rind is the
Yo, but
truth.
they talk like we grew up saying, "Don't eat it; it's gonna make you sick."
They lied. They lied to us, bro.
They lied. That's where most of the nutrients is at. That's where most of the
Right.
nutrients is at. And then that's where most of that aphrodisiac type thing is at. Is up in there. You gotta just juice the whole thing. Get all of
Everybody
that.
looking for an edge, man. Everybody looking for a performance edge, man.
No
Hey,
doubt.
listen.
My
Don't
man
act like
Leaford
y'all
just
ain't gonna
listened
try
to
that watermelon
OGNC.
rind, bro. Y'all boys about to go buy some watermelon rind tomorrow.
Right now, son.
Let me see what bro talking about.
Hey, man, I appreciate you guys coming up, man. This is straight powerful here. Like, I'm just trying to make sure we can put out good content and things that can help people, man, especially young guys coming up. Old guys too, like, all men. You know what I'm saying? I feel like our voice isn't out there. It's too much of women this, women that, you know what I'm saying, blaming our issues on this or that. And this is about leadership and taking hold of what we need to do to be better men, better leaders, and better serve our communities, man. So we can get ahead of this thing and build some longevity, wealth, career, you know what I mean, family, you know what I mean, because that's where the wealth is, and it's in your lineage. And I think we're lacking that info right there. So, hey, I appreciate you guys, man. I'm gonna run a summary, man. I took a few key notes, man, and some things that everybody kind of agreed on. One thing I got is get a physical, get your blood work done, get your vitals checked. You know what I'm saying? Be quiet, meditate, pray. You know what I'm saying? Listen to your spirit talk to you, so you know what it needs. Evaluate yourself for today. You know what I'm saying? And stop thinking about who you were. Improve yourself from who you are today, and not who you used to be. You know what I'm saying? So for me specifically, stop going back and trying to be Superman. You know what I mean? Thinking I got stories, boy. Thinking I can still do what I did when I was 25. You know what I'm saying? Now I'm a little up there, and just kind of hang it up. I'm not, but it's a good effort. And last but not least, man, to pull this thing full circle, fast. That seemed to be the end all, be all, number one, top of the pyramid answer right there. I think we all agreed on that. We all were pretty excited about fasting. And I think fasting is the most efficient way to get all these things in line. You know what I'm saying? If we want, like I mentioned earlier, that we need to practice. We need an area where we could practice getting a hold of our emotional things, and how we deal with different disappointments. Practice that fasting, man, and it's going to force you. It's going to force you to shake, boy. You know what I'm saying? You gonna have to face it, beat it. You know what I'm saying, and realize when you failed, and you come back to it. So, I mean, if anybody got anything else to add, you know what I'm saying, I don't want to just leave it on what I gotta say. But anybody else got any other points y'all want to make?
Hey, yo, bro, I just want to jump in with this whole idea, trying to hang it up though, dog. I'm not sure. I'm in like full. You know what I mean?
I ain't
Full,
me
like,
neither.
you know what I'm
Me,
saying?
you already
Like
know. Me neither.
agreement with this though. I mean, because look, I just feel like at this stage of the game, like I'm assuming we're all late 30s, early 40s. I'm assuming, and it's like, man, this is like some primal type times though, dog. Like we really got some bridge happening where we still got the physical really, really strong, and you, I mean, I feel like we could really run this up until we 60, 65. So we got 25 years that we could be really pushing hard because there's good examples out there. You know what I'm saying? Of cats doing it. It's just different strategies though. You know what I mean? And the game's different. I mean, like I was thinking about myself back in business, and it's like, man, I would murder myself right now. I mean, like I would murder the 25-year-old me, dog. I wouldn't even stand a chance, bro. I mean, I just take my lunch, dog. Like, it would be like just me rolling up on like a middle schooler. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, it's yeah, I mean, it would be just like light wind. And so I think about physically, I feel like, yeah, I was definitely strong at 25, no question. But like the actual strategy about how I would go about getting there could definitely be different. So yeah, just my thoughts on the whole trying to hang it up, man. I don't believe in it yet, dog. You know what I'm saying? I
We
kept
ain't
the
never
scrap.
gotta hang it up, man.
Yeah.
You ain't never gotta hang it up. Just be efficient, man. Just be efficient in your actions, be efficient and intentional. More so than even just efficient. Just be intentional in your thoughts, be intentional in your actions. And everything else will just play itself out. You'll realize that you don't have to even do what you did in the past. That's just the truth. Like you can gain, just like my man Joe was saying, like he'll run circles around his 25-year-old self, not because he's faster, but because he's smart. He's wiser, right? So he'll win the race and he don't even have to utilize the physical attributes as much as he used to because he's just smarter and wiser enough. You know what I'm saying? So cheers to never hanging it up. I'm with you, Joe. We ain't never hanging it up until it's all said and done. My family hang mine up for me when I'm gone.
Period. That's
Yeah,
I like that better. Like, yeah, like my kids hang up my jersey, man. I'm a die trying. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yo,
So
I think a good comparison to that is the early Mike and the later Mike. You know what I'm saying? They both were great. You know what I mean? They just played the game different, man. You know what I'm saying? But it
which
didn't take away
Mike?
from his greatness. Huh?
Which Mike?
Both Mikes were great.
You talking about Jordan, Tyson,
Mike
Jackson?
Jordan, man. Mike Jordan,
I
man.
don't know which Jordan. Yeah, there's a lot of Mikes out there that you know.
Nah, Mike Jordan, man. Jordan, man. You know what I'm
The
saying? You
one.
got the high flying Mike. You got Mike with the turnaround step back. You know what I'm saying? Both just as effective. You know what I'm saying? Just as great.
It's all the
Yeah, it's
same
not
2
about
points.
hanging it up. It's about adapting. You know what I mean? Adapting to your new surroundings, adapting to your new body, adapting to your new mind. You know what I mean? And making necessary adjustments. You know, you ain't got to dunk on nobody from the goddamn foul line no more. You know what I mean? You could just do that fadeaway jumper. You know what I mean? Light them up. You can't stop it. You know, so and it doesn't hurt your knees and your feet and your ankle as much when you hit the ground. So, you know what I mean? It's just about that adaptation. You know, we get older, we just adapt. You know, and the funny thing about us guys is, man, we age like wine. So it's just you just got to know how to move in
Do
your
we
space.
though? I don't.
Yeah,
I mean, we do.
man,
We
yeah,
do.
man,
If we listen to this and we figure out how to do it right, yes, we will age like
man.
wine. But like I said, my dad died at 50. I
Yeah, I
mean,
mean, you know, some people have their things. You know what I mean? But for the most part, your dad at 50 probably still look good.
I mean, yeah, but that's what
Well,
he ain't
that's what
live
I'm
past
saying
51.
though.
He
Well,
didn't live to
I get
see.
it
You know what
though,
I'm saying?
but I'm saying though, I get it though, because everybody got their own things, and I even look at my dad right now because he be fighting, you know, sometimes to go to the doctors and stuff, and it's just like the older generation, you know, and that's why the women always they always outlive us because they have no hesitation with going to the doctor, man. They going to the doctor every chance they get. They got a sniffle, a cough, a sneeze. They're going to the doctors, mammograms, whatever. They're going to the doctors. They're checking this stuff out. The men aren't doing it. You know what I mean? Or haven't been doing it historically. And that's why women are outliving men. You know what I mean? So that's what I'm trying to, you know, change right now. Is like, you know, let's go in there, let's get checked out. You know what I mean? Let's be on evil footing, especially when, you know, most men have, you know, more dangerous jobs or occupations. You know what I mean? And you're out here exerting yourself and your energy and you're putting your life on the line and you're not getting, you know, physicals. You're getting checked up every year to see what's going on in your body because you're in this macho mind state. But now you about to die and, you know, die early and, you know, be looking down on your ex-wife or your, you know, whatever you want to call her with somebody else, some little young thing. I'm trying to outlive mine. Get me a little young thing.
Look, Leafer,
Can you
your
edit
your
that out?
inside man
Edit
is
that out.
trash.
Edit that
Yeah,
out.
We
Leafer
live.
inside man is
We
trash.
live. But no, man. Hey, if y'all want to shout out your business, you know, go ahead. I know you guys, you know, people will hear this, and you know, what I'm saying I'm gonna put y'all IG tags in the description. But if y'all wanted to say anything about your business, go ahead, go for it, or not. And
I'll plug up. Yeah, man. So I got two different works I've been in. One Nearsight Health, where I go around educating doctors about alternative health practices and looking at bringing on different devices to help their patients try to prevent surgery. So I work with a lot of different teams and different type of sports organizations, just trying to put them on to some of the latest tech. So that's one. And then the other piece is really getting other people into like the whole healthcare world. Because, man, I go in most of these hospitals, organizations, and it's normally just me. You know what I'm saying? Like always. And so I want to get more of us into this space on the business side of like healthcare. I think it's just needed, bro. So I'm actively trying to go out and actually find cats to actually make that leap over into healthcare on the whole business side. So sales culture is that one. So those are my two.
For sure.
Abby, you want to spit to it?
Yeah, for sure, man. Again, my name is Abby, your trainer, also known as the People's Health Coach. I'm co-creator of the Effortless Weight Loss System, where I help busy professionals lose weight with ease and keep it off forever. And you ain't got to do no diet, and you ain't got to step foot in the gym. You can check out my free case study where I show you exactly how I do that, and I break down my 3-step process on how I've been able to help busy professionals lose 20, 30, 40, 50 pounds plus while they canceling their gym membership. So you can go visit losingweightwithease.com, and I'll send it over to you immediately. Again, that's losingweightwithease.com.
Oh yeah, it's time.
Yes, sir. It's time.
you want to spit your thing back out, or because
Yeah,
if you need a boxing trainer, so go ahead. I'll let you do.
After you lose your weight with ease and you want to get your hands right, you know what I'm saying, and get a little tone up, you know what I'm saying, you come see me, man. Hit me, Boxing Fitness, Stone Mountain, Georgia. You know what I mean? We use a boxing platform, man, to train the mind, body, and the soul.
All right, guys. Hey, appreciate y'all. Everybody's text will be in the description, and straight like that, man. Send it on there.